Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Lili Nishmasimi Mirosi Ruspas Mordechai. How's everybody doing? I'm back. Almost back to normal. Gewaldic. Yesterday was special. If you look at the screen, I want to show you a very interesting picture that they don't even know that I have. Somebody sent it to me. It's Shai Gross and Velvi Engel at Tri-State Fleet learning the Daf. It's a beautiful sight. It's a very nice thing. I have just one ha'ara. If you're so desperate to learn Torah, why do you hire a frum guy to hold a TV screen in front of you? See what's going on there? Let's see. Let's get the laser going. Here, you see this frum guy on a ladder? He's holding it right. His hand is on the pole, right over here. Okay, Gewaldic. This is where I prepare the daf in the morning. I took this picture this morning, and I'm showing this to you because of the following video. I have lights in the shelves behind me, and it's Gewaldic Gezach. That being said, I'd like to present to you the following video because we had one yesterday, and this is a rebuttal of yesterday's video. Here we go. You got it? Nice and loud? Huh? You don't have a picture. Why not? How do we explain that? So, can't do it? Should play it. Okay.
Hey, everybody. So, I just feel like I need to give off some chizuk. So, I'm not such a cool Maggid shir, because as you can tell, I don't have lights coming out from underneath like some other Maggidei Shirim do, like they think they're on like the set of Star Wars or something, that they have to have lights coming out of their shelves. So I know, I get it, I'm not that cool. But I do want to share something. Reb Chaim, the Heilig Reb Chaim Kanievsky, zechus tzaddik v'shavach. We know this story. This story's been going around everywhere, this story. The story when he told his mechutin that he can't come to the Sheva Brachas because he's a Baal Chayv. And the mechutin felt so bad, and the mechutin said, Oy vavoy, the Heilig Reb Chaim is a Baal Chayv. Oh, 1 second, I should unbutton this if it's for this share. There we go. The Heilig mechutin is a Baal Chayv. So maybe we can try to get together, maybe make a GoFundMe, a matching campaign for him. Zak the Heilig Reb Chaim, name. I'm not a Baal Chayv to anybody of money. I'm a Baal Chayv to my learning. And that I have to just give to my learning. To which the response from the mechutin was, if you're a Baal Chayv to your learning, you won't be a Baal Chayv to anything else. Rabotai, we have to appreciate. Yevamos, it's difficult. A lot of people are feeling as if it's not making sense. You know what else doesn't make sense? Becoming a Baal Chayv to everybody and everything else in the world. Becoming a Baal Chayv to your work. Becoming a Baal Chayv to your family. Becoming a Baal Chayv to crazy people. Becoming a Baal Chayv to the price of gas. Becoming a Baal Chayv to crazy IRS returns that you have to figure out. Becoming a Baal Chayv to all of the craziness that's in this world that you're obligated to have some kind of response on. It can literally keep your face down in the mud where you can't breathe because there's so many chavot upon you, or you remain a Baal Chayv to the Daf. Because if you're a Baal Chayv to the Daf, and you say, Eibishter, I need to have clarity in my life. I need to have my bills paid. I need to have my Shalom bias ironed out. I need to have my children happy so that I can pay you, my Chayv and Yevamos. So then everything else, they'll completely settle, perfect and calm. Become a Baal Chayv. Remain a Baal Chayv. Don't walk around as a Yid saying, I used to do the Daf. Be the Yid who says, I'm still obligated to my Daf. I know it's hard. But you know what? Being a Baal Chayv to anything but the Daf, that's so much harder. Let's do it together, Abotai. Let's make Yevamos ours.
Or you could do Mishnayos Yomi. But I do want to show you what the first 3 seconds is why I showed you the picture here. Play this nice and loud.
Hey everybody. So I just feel like I need to give off some chizuk. So I'm not such a cool Maggid Shir, because as you can tell, I don't have lights coming out from underneath like some other Maggidei Shirim do, like they think they're on like the set of Star Wars or something, that they have to have lights coming out.
Okay, now you understand what he meant.
I know, I get it. I'm not that cool.
Okay. That's Reb Ari Ben Shushan. He's a rock star from LA. Another one here. Okay, I don't know what that is. I thought that was something else. No? Oh, here, this one. Here we go. You're gonna like this, Nachman's view. Oh, it's not on. Okay, fine, forget it. When we're able to. Nah, it's not. Hold it up. No, we have to go. We have to start the shir already. Okay, fine. It's I probably have too many videos open or something. I don't know. The Koilel sponsor for this month is Mr. Anonymous in zechus of Hillel ben Sora Dina and Rivka Bas Feiga. They should be zechus to Zer Shel Kayama. By the Lock and Lebovic families, Lakewood as a zechus for our families. Parents Achoidish, friends and family, Refuah Shlema, Yaakov, Yehuda ben Gittel. Parents Achoidish, Bresler, Austein, Rosenberg, Schulman, and Tobias families. Huh? L'zechus Refuah Shlema for our Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Yisroel, Meir, Dovid ben Yocheved, Druck, Shlita. In honor and appreciation to Mrs. Faigy Stefansky and Mrs. Klein, that's Yossi's wife, Yossi Klein's wife, Yishkoyach. I didn't ask who it is. I have a suspicion that somebody from Los Angeles. Yeah? Yosef? You have no idea who it is?
Absolutely. New system doesn't let me know.
Oh, that's very interesting. He doesn't either. Nobody knows. Wow. Okay, I was just thinking the connection between my wife and Yossi Klein's wife is one person I could think of in Los Angeles, but I might be wrong. Okay. Now, next time, don't be anonymous. Rabbi say we're holding Daf Chav Gimel, plowing along in Yevamos. Now, if you look in your art scroll, you'll see some very, very interesting diagrams on Amud Beis. Do not be psyched out by that. Those are some of the simplest cases we're going to have, and that's part of the issue with Yevamos. People psych themselves out. Literally, there's a Talmud Chacham that comes to the shir. He's not here today. He told me yesterday. He goes, I'm not kidding. He says, I don't know how you do it. How do you hold cup with these? I'm like, the cases are simple. They're really, people are psyching. Even this guy, he's a big Balkishrin, the whole thing, psyching himself out. Don't look at those pictures. You'll see mine. It's like literally simple. 2 lines in Shalom Yisroel. Now, yesterday we finished off a machlokes.
So true.
So true.
So true.
Which part of it?
You
The whole
guys are
thing.
just unbelievable. So true. I was going to consult with you.
Hold on.
Totally changed it there.
Shkoyach. I
Just
appreciate
redo the
it.
whole art school shots.
No, they don't have charts really, but when they have charts, okay. All right. We have here on the here's one of these charts. We had yesterday 2 psukim. How many surim are you over when you have a relationship with your sister? So this 2 psukim, pasuk tes and pasuk yud aleph. One says you shouldn't be with your sister. The other one says ervas bas eshes avicha, who also happens to be your sister. At the end of the pasuk, there's no 2 dots. I couldn't fit them in. Whatever, it didn't work. So Chachamim say you're over 2 Yisurim, one for the blue, one for the red. Rabbi Yossi says no, you're only over on one. In fact, it says he is a miut. Okay. So the Gemara says, what about, so Rabbi Yossi has an extra pasuk. Chachamim use the second pasuk as a second isser. What does Rabbi Yossi do with the second pasuk? He learns from it that it's Eishes Avicha. It has to be Ishus, a legal marriage. And therefore, if someone had a relationship with a guy, and it's an illegal relationship, so that sister is not your real sister. You're not over on that. You're not over for a sister. Okay. Says the Gemara, and then the Gemara asked yesterday, and what about, maybe the pasuk is coming to say if you had a relationship with someone he violated, not a Gaya, you violated. Maybe that's not your sister. No, Gemara proved it from Rava that it's a real sister. Anus is a real sister. Okay, now we're holding top words on Chav Gimel Amud Aleph. Ve'ema prat l'chayvi lavim. Maybe Rabbi Yossi's pasuk. You see the pasuk? The red pasuk. Erev bas ishes avich. Who told Rabbi Yossi to say that it comes to exclude a non-Jew? Maybe it comes to exclude a chayvi lavim. Let's say a person married a mamzeres. He shouldn't. It's a isser. The daughter that he has from that mamzeres is not considered his daughter, maybe. And it's not your sister. It's not true. The kiddushin is a good kiddushin. Right? Meir. If a person has two wives, one is beloved, one is he hates. So Rashi and Tosfos both explain beautiful pshatim. We're talking about Yerusha. One kid should not get Yerusha over the other. Yeah? If your son, let's say, goes off the derech and becomes Litvish, chassid, you can't take him out of the Yerusha. It's also to take him out of the Yerusha. And in fact, even if your kid goes off the derech, you're not allowed to take him off the Yerusha. Because maybe the Gemara explains, we had a whole sugi about it. Maybe his descendants will be from. So you think HaKadosh Baruch Hu cares whether you love this wife or you don't love the wife? How does that fit into the parsha of Yerusha? Says the Gemara, Elo ahuva ben Yisroel, snua ben Yisroel. It means that Hashem hates her marriage. Why does Hashem hate a person's marriage? Because it's an illegal marriage. She shouldn't have gotten married. The Torah says that's considered a marriage. Siyena. There was a person who hated his wife, and he went to the Rebbe for Eitzah. What do I do here? The Rebbe said, very, very simple. I think I mentioned the story a while ago because I'm remembering now. What story is it? Oh yeah, okay, so I'm going to say it anyway. The Dailam here knows it. But the new guys, they just started Yevamos Nabach. So the Rebbe said, I have a great Eitzah. You want to get rid of her? Donate a mikvah and don't pay it. If you don't pay it, what happens is the wife goes bye-bye. You get rid of her, kill her. A great idea, so he's noided himself, I'm donating a mikvah. But then she wasn't dying. So the Rebbe said, he goes back to the Rebbe, you promised that she's going to die. He says, but you don't like her, right? If you don't like her, then it doesn't work. You have to love her in order for it has to be your real wife. And then this whole thing of a neder that goes on the wife, so he started working himself and he loved his wife. But then he's really worried that his wife will die. So he goes back to the Rebbe. He says, Rebbe, I'm scared my wife is going to die. I love her. He says, okay, so then pay the mikvah. Zok the Gemara. Again, so we have this extra pasuk. Pasuk Yud Aleph, Erev bas ishes avicha choischa. What do we do with it? Who told you he's come to exclude a guy? Maybe he comes to exclude a chayvei krisos, one of the arayis. So, if we look over here, v'ishal achoisa loy sikach. When it comes to ishal achoisa, achois isha, that's one of the arayis. The Torah says loy sikach. There's no likuchim. There's no kiddushin. If you're married to one sister, and you try to marry the other sister, loy sikach. It's not going to work. So maybe that's what's going on over here. Omar Rava. Before we said the whole reason why it can't be chayvei lavim because it's a good kiddushin, but over here by chayvei krisos the kiddushin doesn't work. Omar Rava, Omar Kra, ervas achoischa basavicha ba'isimecha meiledes bayis, oy meiledes chutz. It says in the pasuk chutz. Bein shoymim loy lavicha kayem, bein shoymim loy lavicha hitzei. Hitzei doesn't mean to divorce her. Hitzei means you can't be with her. Even in a marriage where it's chayvei krisos and you have to get rid of her. Forget about a get. She's not yours. But the product of that marriage is your sister. So if so, you want to do that to me, you want to say that chutz means even in such a marriage, so let's step it up a little bit. Let's go to the case that you spoke about. Ema ben shomer levicha kayem ben shomer levicha itzev amrachman achoisri lerabbis achois mishivra ve'ez Yocheved. So then your case, who told you to exclude chayve krisos? Maybe exclude you. The opposite. You excluded shivcha and ve'ez Yocheved from the pasuk Eretz Avicha, the second pasuk Eretz Baseish Avicha. So I want to exclude chayve krisos. Who said to do what? They're both bad. They're both you're supposed to get rid of. Oh, I have this pasuk. Eres bas eishes avicha pasuk Yud Aleph. Comes to exclude that. Umaru Isa. So Rabbi Isa, every time we have Umaru Isa, you don't know the pasuk come to exclude Chavi Krisis. The pasuk come to exclude Shifcha and Avezcha. Which one does it come to exclude? What's the answer? Mistabra. We go with simple logic. Umari Yisrael. Mistabra Chavi Krisis Havalei Rabbis. If I have a pasuk that tells me that this is not your sister, I'm going to say it's probably talking about a non-Jew and not a Chavi Krisis. Shekain Tafsibin Kedushin La'alma. Every other man in the world can marry her. Every other Jew can marry this woman. Your wife's sister, everybody in Klal Yisrael can marry besides you. Okay, so it's why did you move, Tzaddik? I want you over here. Okay. But if you're talking about logic, there's another way to say that this sister, although she could become mutter to you, I'm thinking now. Okay, that's a different shayla. But right now, today, this sister is always also to you, and this non-Jew could become mutter to you yourself. Forget about all of Klal Yisrael. What? Oh. You're asking me what the answer is? Oh, you just tell me the Gemara. Okay. So Nachamol. Says the Gemara, no, this is the answer. What are you telling me? You're telling me that you could take this woman and be Megayer and it's mutter to you. So it's more logical that you should be mutter to her and that her daughter should be your son's sister. No. When you're Megayer a person, as we had yesterday, brand new goof. So it's somebody else. We're talking about somebody else. You can't be Memayit a Giyoris, you're going to be Memayit instead. Or Miyut Riba, whatever, not to get confused. Rabbi Yossi says that a sister from a guy is not a sister from a Chavi Krisis is, and it makes more sense like that. Rabbanon, who don't have this extra pasuk, they already used up both psukim. Erves HaChoischa and Erves Baseish Zavich, they used it to teach us the two Isurim. So how do they have extra pasuk? How do they know that a sister that comes from a relationship with a Goya is not your sister? Also, as we had yesterday, that the children of a shifcha, if the master gives his evidivri to the shifcha, the children have a halacha like the mother, they are slaves. So if they are slaves, they're not your sister. They're slaves. They're not their father's children, and they're certainly not your sister. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, Chad b'shivcha, v'chad b'oivedes kechavim. What is he going to do? So Yishav Yiladeh Tiladeh now. So one teaches him, Yishav Yiladeh is going to talk about a shivcha, and the pasuk we had before is talking about a goya utzrichi. You can't learn one from the other. The Ashmin and shivcha mishum de'el lachayis. Interesting. A slave. A shifcha loses her yichus. She doesn't have yichus. Why? Because the Torah calls Eliezer ima chamar amadom el chamar. It's a nation similar to chamar. Therefore, there's no yichus. But when it comes to a real guy, the Torah calls a guy by also his father. Rashi brings down Biladon ben Biladon. Baladon. So the Torah says the son of so and so. So Goy does have yichus. Goes by the father. Yichus by the father. But a slave, once she becomes a slave, a shifcha, she loses all her yichus. So Mela, I would think if a slave doesn't have yichus, therefore her child is not associated with anybody, and it's not your sister. But a goya that does have yichus, as we see baladon ben baladon, so maybe it is your sister. Even if the Torah would only exclude a guy, a relationship with a guy, a sister from a guy, you know why she's not your sister? Because the guy is not chayv any mitzvahs. A shivcha, the shaycha b'mitzvahs, emeloi. A shivcha that has all the mitzvahs of a woman, because we learn lala miisha. So maybe I would say that her daughter is considered your sister. Komash Malon, each one has a reason why I would think that it's not similar to the other. I need a special pasuk for shivcha, a goya, and a special pasuk for a shivcha, a special pasuk for a goya. Zok the Gemara. Tzricha. Emeloi, tzricha. V'Rabbanon ashkechon shivcha. Rabbanon learned from Meisha v'Yeladeha a pasuk that tells us that the daughter of a shivcha is not your sister. Or they only have one pasuk. You cannot learn out from shivcha. Why? We just explained that a goya and a shivcha are different. Now, if you look at the screen, we already had this, but it's kedai to see it again. There's two psukim, pasuk gimel and pasuk dalet. Pasuk gimel says, it's talking about the shiva umais. You shouldn't marry into them. It's talking about a father marrying off his son and marrying off his daughter. Pasuk gimel. Don't give your daughter over to a guy. And your own daughter don't give. His daughter don't take for your son. Okay. What does this next pasuk say? What's going on here? Thank you. What does that mean? Who's this Yasser? Who's gonna sway your son away and make them do Avodah Zarah? Who? No, Ki Yasser is a man. It doesn't say Ki Tasser. A second ago, we're talking about the father marrying off his daughter, his son. And now it says Ki Yasir. Okay, so we're obviously moving away from the father marrying off his son. We're talking about the guy himself that married your daughter. The guy that your daughter married is going to convince your grandchildren. Bincha now turned into a grandchild. A second ago, Bincha, Bitcha is your own daughter. It's talking about the father marrying off his daughter. Now we're talking about a grandfather. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, you grandfather that married off your daughter to a non-Jew, that non-Jew is going to take your grandchild, Bincha. So it's talking about the daughter, your daughter, who married a non-Jew. But what about your son that marries a Goya? The pasuk doesn't talk about it. Why? Because it's not your it has no shaykhs to you anymore. That's it. Not considered Jewish. So here's the aside. Everybody knows in the colleges that if your mother's Jewish, it's from this pasuk. Kiyaz is bincha. Because the non-Jew is going to have an influence on your grandchild and make him do Avodah Zarah. What about she, the non-Jewish wife, will take your grandson? No. It's too late already. It's not your son anymore. Bincha, the Torah considers it your grandchild still. Why? Because the mother is Jewish. It's bincha. Oh, if so, let's see inside. Says Rashbi. Bincha Yisroel is Kori Bincha. The diuk is, Rabbi Isa, you have to pay attention here. I'm not making this up. Rashi says it. Once you know the pasuk before, we understand what the diuk is in the second pasuk. We have to understand that the pasuk before talks about both. So then why did the pasuk go to only one of the two? To tell you this diuk. Kiyaz is Bincha Macharai. Bincha Yisroel is Kori Bincha, the son of your daughter is still considered Jewish. If your son marries a Goya, how common it is today. It's unreal what goes on in Chutz La'aretz, especially with Israelis. Israelis have no idea because they come, they live here and it's not a thing. Come to America, it's Neiravayim. It's like the Bedafka don't want to marry Jewish or something. You should know it has no shaykhs to this kid. So we see from here that if a person has a relationship with a Goya, that kid is unbelievable. It's not even your son's sister. There's no shaykhs to you. Oravina, Shmamina, basically what we just discussed. Ben bitcha haba min ha'eved Yochavim kari bincha. If the father is a non-Jew, the son remains Jewish. Le'mikasavar avina ha'eved Yochavim ve'eved haba al bas Yisroel havlad kosher. So it seems like the child is 100% good, kosher, but that's shtempel. Says Gemara, no. Nihi the mamzer le'havi. I'm not going to call him kosher. Don't push it. He's not a mamzer. You're right. Kosher nam le'hava. But he's not kosher. Yisroel apostle mikri. Benegat to kahuna, whatever it is, he's a apostle. Kohen shouldn't marry that child. But he's not a kosher. He's not a mamzer. He's not a kosher. He's in between. That's the Gemara Bam Kasha. But the whole pasuk that we're learning, the Veloises Chatim Bam, is talking about the Shiva Umais, the 7 nations have a Shiva Umais ksiv. Says the Gemara, Ki Yasil Rabbois Kol HaMesirim. So Rabbi says there's a big chap here, a very nice chap. What's the chap? Why does the Torah tell me what the reason is? The Torah says it's also. You can't eat chazer. Shut. I don't need to know because it causes this disease and this and this and that. It makes you stupid. Whatever. I don't know what. It doesn't say. It says zos. Why does it say you shouldn't marry a goya or a guy because the guy is gonna make your grandson do avodah zarah? So once the Torah is telling us a reason, there's no reason for the Torah to tell me a reason. I can figure it out myself. I can have my own reasons. We're going to see in a second, Rishim Ba'ichai, Darshan's time of the crow. He figures these things out himself, like in Meir Nevuchim. He figures Taimim, Minchas Chinuch, whatever. He'll figure out the time. So why does the Torah have to tell me the time? That whole reason is extra. And if it's extra, I can learn something from it. I'm going to learn that all Goyim are like that. Any Goy that could convince your child to do avodah zarah can't marry. To the point, in a second we're going to see, but if maybe it's a Goy that's not so strong in avodah zarah, no. Hanichel Reb Shimon, the Darish time of the crow. These words, ki yasir, are extra only according to the man Amar Reb Shimon Ba'ichai, who holds that I could learn time of the crow, I could go into the reasoning of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore the Torah didn't have to say because I could figure it out myself. But Rabbanon, if the Torah didn't say it, I would never know it. I want the Torah to tell me. And to the point where Rashi says that the Goyim in Chutz La'aretz, the Shvacha Goyim, yes, they do avodah zarah, but they don't do it because they really believe in the avodah zarah. They do it because they were used to it, they were brought up, the Tinoike Shenishbun avodah zarah. Says the Gemara, Mantana the Polygal the Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimoni. Okay, says the Gemara, you know what? Who's the Tana that argues on Chachamim is Rabbi Shimon Ba'ichai, and he holds time of the Quran, and he holds that it's extra. Memela, everything works out great. It's nobody else but Rabbi Shimon Ba'ichai. That's what we have to say. And the story, Daf Gimel Amud Beis, sponsored by Moshe Horn in honor of Shmuley Sugar and the original sugar shaker. Sponsored in honor of Ed Kinsbursky, Brian Kinsbursky, and Ari Miller for learning the Daf. Now we have another sponsor because it's the official Mishnah. Brand new sponsor for the next 18 Mishnayos. Sponsored by the MDY Tehillim Group, where we down for Refuah Shidduchim for Klal Yisrael and for our MDY family. We just had that very sad story where the guy was holding his newborn. He was talking about his 2-year-old daughter that had the machla, and somebody was asking me what happened. She's still in treatment. She needs refuah, but MDY, they down for her every day. Join us at tehillim.8mindav.com. So here, this is the Mishnah. This is the Mishnah. I want to tell you, this Mishnah is really one case. And the Mishnah builds on it. If you understand the first case, you understand the whole Mishnah. And the first case is super, super simple. Do not psych yourself out of Yevamos. A person, he went and he was Mekadesh one out of two, let's say twins. And he has no idea which one his wife is. Now, he cannot marry one of them and let the other one go because it might be the sister of his wife. Now, you're laughing, but there's a story about Rav Shteiman, Zechron Levracha. He told the Shatchanas, he says, I might look at the girl if I think it's negeh to me. So the Shatchanas calls up the girl after the date. No, how did it go? She says, not a very good date. He didn't look at me once. At the end of the date, he looked at me for a minute. So she said, oh, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Okay, fine. So there's people that don't know exactly what their date looks like. Kaddish, this one, that one. Now it's a mix-up. Now, we're going to see in the Gemara, it makes a lot more sense. If you sent a shliach to be Mekadesh a woman, she and her sister sent a shliach to receive the Kiddushin, and there's a big confusion there. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Noisen get lezu, v'get lezu. So, here, this is the big chart, Rabbi Yisai. Big chart that you see. This is it. I'm not kidding you. You have twin sisters or sisters, Rachel and Leah. Reuven performed Kiddushin. He has no idea what to do. He doesn't know who. Now, what happened is mace. I didn't even put a mace in there. Okay, mace. He went bye-bye. And he has a little brother called Shimon. He does chalitza to both women. Rabbi said, this is the whole Mishnah. That's it. We're going to take this case and expand on it, but this is it. Seriously. We have to understand, why does he do chalitza to both? Why can't he do chalitza to one and yibum to the other? So now, chalitza to both, very simple. He just releases both of them, they have no problem. Could he be miyabim Rachel before he does chalitza to Leah? Absolutely not. Why? Because Rachel might be the sister, she might be the Yevama, great, but what if she's the sister of the Skuka? In other words, let's say Leah is the real wife to Reuven, so she's Skuka to Reuven, if we hold Zika, she's Ban to Reuven, so Rachel is what? Achais Zkukasai. And it's 100% usher to marry the sister of a Zkuka. What if he gave chalitza to Rachel? Give chalitza to Rachel. And now he wants to do yibum on Leah. And he'll say like this: if Leah, you're my real Yevama, great, I'm a mitzvah. And the chalitza I did to Rachel is 0. And if you're not my Yevama, let's get married. Obviously with consent. She likes him, everything's good. You get married. No, you can't do that. Why not? Achos chalutzasai. So we just learned 2 things, that's it. That's all we need to know. One is achos kukasai. The other one is achos chalutzasai. Once you perform chalitza Rachel, and she might be the real, true Yevama, and it's a good chalitza, that brother Shimon and that brother alone cannot marry Leah because she is the sister of a chalutza. What about Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, Zvulun? Could they marry that other woman? Yes. Because there's no achos chalutza when another brother performed the chalitza. They don't have that issur. Next.
Why is there no potential zika to the other brothers?
Well, we didn't get to the other brothers. She was released.
Maybe the right one, maybe not the right one.
Okay, let's get there. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. If he's alive, he gives a get to each one. If he dies, and he has one brother, that one brother, okay, we just explained why. If he has two brothers, got to tell you a little quick joke here because we have a lot of time left. There was a few families that sent a shliach to get a bunch of chasanim, to get son-in-laws. So they sent the shliach, they picked up a bunch of son-in-laws, or two of them, and on the way back, one of them got killed. So the mother-in-laws were very upset. They all wanted the son-in-law. So they went to the Bezdin. They said, what should we do? So the Dayan had a great idea. He's going to be like Shlema Melech. He said, we're going to split the guy in half. We're going to cut him in half and give each one a half a son-in-law. So one said, no way. Crazy, you're going to kill the guy. The other one says, yes, do it. So, that's the mother-in-law. That's the real one. One, okay, now they're very interesting. So now we have two brothers. Oh, we just added to the chart another guy. Made it much more complicated. So what do? One performs chalitza, and the other one could do yibum. So Shimon does chalitza, let's say, to Rachel. Now Leah is Miman of Shach. Either she's the real wife of Ruvain, and Levi is marrying the real wife of Ruvain, and that's beautiful, it's a mitzvah, it's yibum. Or she's not the real wife of Ruvain, she's just the sister of Rachel who received chalitza. She's achos chalutza. But guess what? Levi could marry the achos chalutza. Only Shimon cannot marry the achos chalutza. Huh? What do you mean? Because it's the Rabbanon. Achos chalutza is only the Rabbanon. They weren't geyser on another brother. Oh. No. Whoa. Hold on. No, we're not talking about Zika. Hold on. We'll get to the Zika in a second. Okay. I don't know if we have to get to that. On this, you're looking right now. Once he's chayletz, okay, I was going to say it in a second, but we'll say it over here. Once he's chayletz, then it's negeh in a second, but it's even more important later. Once he's chayletz, the zika is removed. Memela, there's no achois chalutza, but for him, it's still. I'm asking, why is it not achois chalutza? You're not explaining why it's not achois chalutza to the brother. So could he marry the other lady? Could he marry the other lady? The one that did chalitza. Could he marry the other sister? Why not? But it was nifka. So how does it help the brothers? I'm asking how did it help the brothers? No. Hold on a second. Wait. Okay. So now that one can do yibum. Kadmu v'kantu. Over here, this is what you're talking about. Kadmu v'kantu emoitzimi yadam. If the brothers went ahead and they were miyabim, then now we don't take them out. Why? What's going on here? Shimon and Levi, they marry these women. So what's the problem? The problem is that maybe he's being. So let's go back. Why did you go off the chart? Go back to the chart for a second. So we're gonna have to show this Kiddush fight. What happens is it's very important to be on. What? So let's take the cable. Oh, here it is. How about now? Very good. Gewaldig. Okay. So if the two brothers they went and they were miyabim, what happens is that yes. Let's say Shimon marries Rachel. So what happened? Either Rachel is Reuven's wife and it was a great yibum. But what if Shimon is not Rachel's not Shimon's wife, and Shimon when it was miyabim her, so he's over Isser. But that's it. He's over Isser, and then by him marrying her, he was mafkia the zika that there is, and Levi could go ahead and be miyabim Leah, L to L. Okay, now we move on. We got to go. The oilam's here ready for Shachris. Oh, now it gets interesting. Two brothers were Mekadesh, two sisters, but it's the same idea, Rabbi Isai. We're just adding pieces to this. Zeni there is a Kiddush, Zeni there is a Kiddush. The two brothers don't know who they're Mekadesh. They both have to give 2 divorces because these women cannot get married to anybody. They might be married to each one. Mesu, and if the brothers die, the same exact halacha as we had with one brother. There's no difference if there's two people that are Mekadesh 2 women, or one person Mekadesh 2 women. Each brother performs like we said before in this case. Here's one brother, he does chalitza to do. Now, here's the interesting case. It's the same case, Rabbi Yisai, I'm telling you, it's not hard. If one brother that was Mekadesh one woman has one brother, and the other brother that was Mekadesh one woman has 2 brothers, because if one brother has one guy that dies has one brother, that guy performs chalitza, as we said in the beginning of the Mishnah, to both. But if we said in the second case, if there's 2 brothers, one performs chalitza, one performs ibum. So there's no difference if it's 2 men and 2 women. It's the same exact case. First, the brother on the right has to do chalitza. Then the 2 brothers on the left, one does chalitza and one does ibum. Yeah? It's the same case as we had before. Nothing changed. What's interesting is this case. Hold on. What? No, 2 different families. This is, I had to use one Baldwin in that because these are all the guys I have. I have 6 guys. One family is Reuven Shimon Levi. One family is plumber, dentist, Yehuda. They're different families, not related. Reuven was Mekadesh one woman, either Rachel or Leah, and Yehuda was Mekadesh either Rachel or Leah. It's 2 different families. Now, so the same thing as we had in the second case, if the 2 brothers jump in and marry them, we don't take them out. Now, this is the case on the screen now. Each brother has 2 brothers, a total of 3 on each side. Reuven has Shimon and Levi. Yehuda has the plumber and the dentist. So listen to this. Before we go inside, very, very simple. Let's take the right side, okay? Step 1 is that one brother has to do chalitza from both sides. First goes chalitza. Number 1, it says 1 over there. You do chalitza. To who? One brother on this family does chalitza to one woman, to Rachel, and one brother from the other family does chalitza to the other woman. Okay? So there's 2 chalitzas that were done here. Then, once that happens, so let's think about it. If we just look at the right side, Shimon performed chalitza to Rachel. Now, the dentist performed chalitza to the other one. So we don't have a concern that maybe Levi's going to come in and he's going to be miyabim, who? Leah. Only Leah. Chalitza was done to Rachel. His brother did chalitza to Rachel. He's going to be miyabim the other sister. It's the same case that we had before. Just a lot of people. Why? Because Levi says like this, Miman of Shach. If she was married to another guy, Yehuda, to the other family, she got a chalitza. She's free to the world now. If she's not related to Yehuda, she was my brother's wife. Some be miyabim her. Is that difficult, Rabbi Isai? Look, why are these pictures like arrows and that? I think this is very, very simple. Dachamal. Reuven, let's start from the beginning. Reuven and Yehuda, the guys on the far, far ends of this picture, they were Mekadesh, one of the 2 women on top. They don't know who is who. They don't know who they were Mekadesh. and then they die. Each one of those brothers on the far end left two brothers. So what do? One brother, the middle brothers, they perform a chalitza to only one woman. So Shimon performs chalitza to Rachel, dentist performs chalitza to Leah. The other brothers that are left, the two brothers that are left, the inner brothers, Levi and the plumber, they're miyabim the other sister, not the one that their brother did chalitza, the other one. Why? And it's step 2. They cannot be miyabim before the chalitza happened because maybe they're marrying somebody that's married to another man or fell to yibum to another family. But once the other family performed chalitza, everybody did chalitza, so now she's 100% mutter. Because if she was in fact, let's take Levi, the factor guy, the X factor. Levi wants to marry Leah and only Leah. He can't do anything with Rachel. He wants to marry Leah. Now, what happened to Leah? She got a chalitza from the other family. So if she was actually the other family's relative, she was married to Yehuda, then she got a chalitza, and now she's free to marry anybody in the world, so she marries Levi. But if she wasn't Yehuda's wife, she was Reuven's wife, so Levi's going and he's being Mekayim Mitzvahs Yibum. So everything's Gevaldik. And the same thing in the other family. The plumber is going to marry Rachel. Hold on. It's either Kiddushin or Yibum. It's either or. It is. It could be Yibum. Done by somebody else. The wrong person. Here, let's look at it. Let's take the plumber. What happened there? His brother, the dentist, performed chalitza. Time out. Let's look at this family. Look. Hold on, Ari. Look at the side. The dentist performed chalitza on Leah. Now it could be it's not a good chalitza. It could be it is a good chalitza. But what happened to Rachel? The plumber goes and marries Rachel. If Rachel was Yehuda's, hold on, you're not listening. You're gonna miss the case. If Rachel is Yehuda's wife, then the plumber is doing a perfect yibum, not kiddushin. He's doing yibum. Rachel was married to Yehuda. We just don't know. So the plumber's marrying his brother's wife. Why did the dentist do chalitza on Leah? Because he didn't know. It was nothing, zero. That was chalitza to a strange woman in the street. But if Rachel was really married to Reuven, and Shimon did a chalitza on Rachel, so now the plumber's marrying Rachel, a stranger in the street, and it's kiddushin. You're right. In that case, it's kiddushin. So 50% chance it's kiddushin, 50% chance it's yibum. Have a wonderful day.